So do we start?
Yeah, we start.
Okay. So,
who's moderator?
One, thank you for coming.
well, I don't think we really decided who's
Okay.
moderating, Kathleen.
Okay.
Sorry. But who wants to?
Sure, I can. I mean, we probably don't really need one, but yeah, we can just dive in.
All right.
All right. I have a question. When you guys first heard of this idea of Star Trek Lower Decks, what were your first thoughts?
Mine, anytime I see something like that, I've reached the point where I won't prejudge. I wait and I see. I went, okay, animated. Well, they've done animated Trek before.
Do you want to try that again? He's on mute. Okay, while he comes, you want to try again, TA? All right, we're going to let TA fix his computer sound. Go ahead, Kathleen. What did you think first?
I thought it was a lot like an idea that Peter pitched to Simon & Schuster a number of years ago. It interested me because it looked like it was going to be different. I think animated was the way to go because they didn't have to worry about the budget. Like TA, I was willing to give it a try. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? And you have to understand that Caroline, she watches Star Trek, but it's usually because we have it on. She had to see this. She loved this series. This has become her favorite version of Star Trek on the screen. There was just something about the snarky quality of it, I think, that appealed to my little nihilist. And it's been fun. And it really is a different look at a starship.
Okay, how do I sound now?
Good.
Tin can, but you're not crackling.
Right, that's my alternate microphone. For some reason, my Yeti keeps cutting out on occasion, so I may have to reload the drivers for that. Okay, when Star Trek Lower Decks was announced, I don't know what part you heard of my earlier response, but I thought, okay, animated. Well, they've done animated Star Trek before. Let's see how this works. Oh, it's going to be a comedy. Well, I like comedy, but I'm not going to simply say, oh, God, can't possibly be Star Trek, so I'm just going to automatically reject it. No, I watched it. I thought it was fun. I didn't quite feel like it was the same type of serious Star Trek we've gotten down through the years, but I liked how they poked fun at the more serious aspects. Like, we do all the work, but the guys on the bridge take the credit. 3 men died making sure the phasers were continuing to work during the battle, and Kirk gets the credit, but 3 men really won the battle. That kind of thing. So I'm really enjoying it. I think it's it's refreshing.
Refreshing, yeah, it's a good word for it. It is refreshing. Because again, the other thing I liked about it is once I started watching it, it went places I didn't expect to go. Mm-hmm. The way that some of the characters evolved, and the fact that there was evolution in the characters. It wasn't just a one trick pony.
Oh, that's a perfect segue to my thoughts. When I first heard about it, I thought animated, okay, I can go with that either way. I figured it wouldn't be anything close to the original animated series they had done before, and it's not. And then the other thing was comedy, and I'm not a huge straight comedy fan just because it usually fails for me. A lot of times nowadays, what passes for comedy is nasty humor. So, I mean, I was really interested, but I was totally reserving judgment to see what they did with it. I I love the snark. I like the characterization, but I think they keep missing the potential because they'll have this character growth a bunch of times and they've ignored it in subsequent episodes. So I kept hoping that they would have the courage of their convictions and let the character growth stand. And especially the finale to the last season, there was a ton of good stuff in that. And I'll be really curious to see what they do next season.
That I agree with everything you just said, but I also keep in mind it took Next Generation roughly 2 years to really find itself. And that was what, 23 episodes a season? So
Yeah.
that took over 45 episodes. And we've had what, 8 or 10?
Also, you have to remember that in the first season, that a lot of times, the way that they have to have X number, especially since it was animated, they had to have X number of scripts.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were different writers. And, you know, even though you have a writer's room and all the rest, there's going to be a little discombobulation. I think there will be less so than next time, because now they've pretty much got the voices down and have an idea of who these characters are. Although I have to say, one of my favorite episodes was Clippy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Clippy's legend. Everyone loves Clippy now.
Yeah.
You know, that just, and it was Jack McBrayer as the voice, which I had no idea that I so desperately wanted to hear him do that until I heard it.
Yeah.
Ariel Vitale is going, Badgie.
Yes.
I love Badgie. I do want to throw this in real quick. One joke that I was waiting for as soon as they announced the cameo, I was waiting, and they totally missed it, was when they said, oh, by the way, Q will be back, played by John Delancey. I loved the episode, but I kept waiting for Q going, oh, I don't want to go back to Picard. He's boring, you know. But at one point, I wanted to hear him say, wait a minute, why am I animated? Because Q, being omnipotent, would notice that, don't you think?
There you go. I don't know. I don't think there's anything to notice from their point of view. Just sidebar regarding the animation, and this has nothing to do with the quality of the show, which is great, and they obviously put such love and care into it. That's not my favorite animation style. But again, that's strictly taste. It's not even a complaint, because some people are going to absolutely love it. It's not my favorite style, which is neither here nor there. But just since we were talking about the animation.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Animation was a big part of it, because there were things they could do animated wise that they could never do if it was live action. You know, it would have cost too bloody much to do.
Yeah. Well, so. And also the fact that obviously, you know, a 50-year difference between the original animated series and Lower Decks. I kept thinking there's no way they're going to be able to make it look like the original.
Like Funimation?
Like Funimation. But I was very tickled by the homage they did when someone was looking at Kirk and Spock on a screen, and it was the original animated.
Yeah.
That was neat.
That was nicely done.
Yeah. And again, it allowed us to have aliens that could be done with CGI, but damn, it would be the gelatinous cube. He's become one of my favorite characters. When he first showed up, I was like, really? You know, because all he seemed to be doing was hitting on people. But eventually, they did do some really good character stuff and let it stick to where we now understand more why he is the way he is. And that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I mean, it, like someone in the comments mentioned, it always, and like you guys mentioned too, it always takes a while to find the footing. And what with the disconnect among all the writers, because they had to have the scripts done ahead of time, and couldn't necessarily collaborate super closely. I think what Kathleen said is totally right. Going forward, it's going to be a lot more cohesive, and it's going to hit the mark more. It's going to fulfill the potential more of letting the characters grow.
Um, I do you folks watch the Ready Room making of episodes as well?
Yeah, those are good.
I love some of the insights they give. Sorry, my camera's flickering. It's the first time it's been giving me any of these problems in like a year. You know, the audio.
That's because you're doing a panel for Farpoint.
That's a very good point. Yeah,
and you don't have snow right now, so you got to have something else go wrong.
It's Badgie's sabotaging your camera.
I also like the fact how half my face is sunburned because I've got a window up here, but I've got a lamplight over here. It's not quite there. But anyway, I found some of the challenges they were having while making the episodes interesting. Just getting the voices recorded. You know, different stars were showing, here's where I record my audio. And one of them had, you know, a room with soundproofing, which was actually cardboard eggshell.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them said, oh, I record over in that closet over there. You know, so these people in their own ways are, you know, this is their makeshift attempt to keep these things rolling. So I can kind of forgive some of the oddball stuff going on. And the fact that you're right, there is a certain lack of cohesion to the whole production. But the fact that it still came out, in my opinion, looking as good as it did, sounding as good as it did.
Yeah, the audio engineer had to be a freaking genius because you know the problem, having been a sound engineer, the problem there is that you're going to get so many different things that you have to balance and try to make them sound all the same.
Right.
And it's a right royal pain in the ass. I mean, I've done sound for film. I've done sound for theater, musicals, and you've got to be able to balance things, especially in musical theater, so damn quick, because occasionally you have levels that you always start at. But all of a sudden, one of your actors is coming in with extra energy, and it's like, and we pull back.
Okay. By the way, Kathleen, speaking of sound, what are you crumpling? It sounds like you're in a windstorm.
She's doing sound effects to illustrate.
I'm cutting out patterns for something.
Okay, I was just like going, what are you doing over there?
I am multitasking.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to get some pieces of some stuff done so that I can then Franken pattern and make some new things that I want to try. I do apologize for the crackling.
That's okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't something going funky on your end like I have on mine.
No,
you should have gone with, you were illustrating sound editing and stuff.
Or
that would have been in with the theme of the talk.
Yeah, no, but you know, the sound. My hat's off, because they had to take all these different
elements.
Oh, I can hear it now. All these different
sound elements
and balance them and make them all sound the same. And that ain't easy.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they needed to have that before they could actually animate it. So it had to be done fast. There are a couple of occasions, and it's my ear because, like I said, I've done this professionally, where I kind of go, ooh, that's a miss. But overall, they did a great job.
And
hi, Fig.
Another panelist scene.
Say hi, Fig. This is Caroline's cat.
Ah, all right. Sorry, I'm reading some of the comments over in the chat right now.
There's your requisite cat.
Okay, I don't have a cat. I do have a dog by proxy. Howie's Shelby. I'm adopted by her.
Puppies count.
Okay, so Shelby, Welsh Corgi, but no cat. It's not that I don't like cats. They don't like me. but we get along. That's about as far as it goes. I will never own a cat. So,
Well, I thought I'd never own a cat because before this I owned dogs, but I have become a cat person. So
no.
it can happen.
Well, as I said, I get along with them, but that's
Yeah.
about as far as I'll take that.
Yeah, to get back on topic, well, one of the neat things about lower decks, and it's probably not unique in this aspect, but I can't think of any examples. Mariner and her mom, who's the captain. I can't think of any other mother-daughter like prominent characters in Trek. And I know Troy's mom showed up, but that was never teamwork. That was never.
It was more adversarial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just it wasn't the same. It was family, but not really because it was adversarial, and it was never working together. And
There
being
were
leads on the show.
occasions. There were occasions.
Right, but Luxana was never a lead on the show.
Right.
And
Right.
the
I'll give you
captain,
that.
even though like a secondary lead because it's the main four in the lower deck. But I love the mother-daughter in Starfleet, and I can't think of any other examples.
Well, actually, it's the mother, daughter, dad.
Yeah,
in
but he's
Starfleet.
only shown up once, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like the once or twice we've seen him, he's hung up the phone.
Yeah.
So I
The
can't
only-
hear you.
The only other place I've seen it was on the Orville. The doctor having the two sons.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
two
Yeah.
sons. I can think of lots of sons.
Yeah, Worf.
Actually, also on Orville, the security officer and his husband
And their
having the
baby.
kid. Yeah, so they have a baby there. So that was there as well as regular characters. But yeah, I think that's very entertaining. If I had one complaint about Lower Decks, it's that everything comes at you so fast. The speed is just so quick that sometimes I will have to watch it a second or third times and once or twice slow it down so I can catch the lines they're throwing at you.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody else points out father son, Cisco and his son.
Yeah. I do think exactly what you said, TA. I think Lower Decks would benefit sometimes. I mean, not that this would be an easy thing. Just let the running time go 5 minutes longer. So it's not so frenetic.
Yeah, I'm not sure they can. And
well, that's what I mean. I'm not calling it easy. I mean, sure, I can say it. Yeah, 5 more minutes, But yeah, it's too fast. It's too frantic sometimes.
Well, yeah, they are trying to keep it within the format that if they wanted to show it on CBS, they could.
True.
With bleeping.
Yeah, really. But again, and I like the fact sometimes the jokes go in a direction I didn't expect. I am horrible with names. Right this second, I love all the characters, and I cannot tell you the name of one character on Lower Decks. Does anyone else hear that audio, by the way?
I was just hearing you.
I'm hearing no. There's nothing over here, but I'm hearing a commercial over the headphones here.
Nope.
Weird. Okay, I'm going to check
it's
my.
Badgie. Badgie's just in your system.
I know. Okay, I will say this, and then I'm going to step away and try to find that audio source if it's on my PC. And that is sometimes the jokes were so fast I have to play it again. Like, who's the female lead? I can't think of her name.
Mariner.
Thank you, Mariner. See, I recognize it. I just couldn't think of it. At one point, somebody was saying, wait a minute ago, you were telling me this, and now you're telling me that. And you're waiting for an explanation, and her response is, thank you. I'm very complicated. Just boom. What? Huh? That's not an excuse. Just like, you don't understand me. Let it go. So, and I like that. The fact that it didn't go where I expected it to go.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the fact that they complain about the guys on the bridge take credit for all their hard work?
I think it's an okay joke that there's a danger of them running it into the ground.
But if you think about it, I mean, what they're doing is they're expressing a sort of a universal, you know, that the people underneath, because of their hard work, make the people up above, especially in management, look good.
Mhm.
You know, they're saving their bacon, but not getting any credit for it. Whereas, you know, the named people, it's sort of like if you think about a TV show, you know, the actor has a makeup artist, a hairstylist, a costumer,
Yeah.
you know, all these things that get them ready for their role.
Mhm.
And if you look at Lower Decks the same way, is they're those people,
Mhm.
you know, that are doing the things to make the upper echelon look good. Then it's, you know, you understand the frustration with it. But also notice that advancement is possible. They're not stuck in the lower decks. We have, you know, we have one character who is desperately trying to move up.
And you have Mariner who wants to stay there.
Well, I don't know. Does she still, now that after that last finale?
Well,
Well,
I think what it is she's more comfortable there, and she's also trying to buck her parents.
hmm.
You know, they're expecting her to do great things, you know, with her career and all the rest, you know, because it's in the family, and she's more comfortable, I think, in the lower decks. But she also
Yeah.
but also during the series, I think she realized I have the abilities needed for command. You know,
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. But
and she
yeah,
did get to. You're right, Terry. You're right. She did get demoted at the start of the series because of something she did.
Well, and plus she was promoted and demoted in the run of the series too.
that's true. And she hated moving up to that slightly more middle rank where she got even less acknowledgement, less camaraderie, and even less credit.
Yeah. I mean, the reason
So
I call it an inside joke though is, or not inside, but like they're doing it for humor, and it's pointed, accurate humor, but it's also, I think it's also the nature of Trek. The best captains, they and Discovery's doing this a lot too. The captain's nothing without an awesome crew, and the best captains acknowledge that, and make a point of saying, you know, it's easy for me to sit in the center seat, but if you guys don't do your jobs, I can't do mine.
yeah,
We
good
we
point.
have something. We have something in the Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else like the way they fill in the blanks when a grave threat hits the ship? My question always was, yes, but how's the rest of the queue dealing with the hideous alien gelatinous cube? I love this aspect of it. We see the nuts and bolts. You know?
Yeah. But I also find it interesting that they got, 83 security guys. So what do we have? We have the guys from the bridge with guns running down the corridor. I'm going, now, delegate, maybe a little bit, just a little. That. I'm not saying, hold on.
I was surprised
I'll be
we
right
lost
back.
that. Okay. I was surprised we lost that character at the end of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
The security chief, because he was an interesting, cool character.
Got it. Figured out what the problem was.
What with your mic?
What's the gather thing?
Oh, the other room?
Yeah, I had that open, and whenever someone would walk next to me and pop up and start talking, I could hear them on my system. So I just left that part. So now that might have been part of what was screwing up my other microphone too, but I'm not gonna fiddle with it right now.
Oh yeah. If this is working, don't screw with it.
Right.
Like they would say on lower decks.
Yeah.
This is working, don't screw with it.
Absolutely. I liked and I admit one of my favorite parts was having cameos, even if it was just like one line from some person out of left field, or even when they're going, "Oh yes, believe me, we know about Kirk, we know about Gary, what's in episode 1 at the very end when Mariner's saying, "Did you know about this? Did you know about Spock and this? Did you know about McCoy?" And she's mentioning all these classic aspects, and that's fun. I find humor in that connection.
Yeah. And
But
Riker and Troy are keeping very busy. What with Lower
yes.
Decks and Picard and
Yeah. Well, but this could be somebody's first Star Trek series, and they could figure out pretty fast what was going on.
Yeah.
They gave you enough information about it. They had Easter eggs from, Star Trek as a whole, but I could sit somebody down who said, I've never watched Star Trek or I've seen a movie. I could sit them down with this and not have to worry about them trying to figure out what's going on. They set it up and then run with it.
Yeah, so, exactly. That's perfect. They're doing such a great job of balancing.
And the fact that it is animated also might appeal to younger fans just from that aspect alone. So in many ways, you could almost say that Lower Decks is an attempt to be a gateway series to everything else. So it'll appeal to the old fans and the young.
Yeah, that's another great balancing act they're doing, because it is animated and the snark and the high speed and the high action. It's for kids, but there's enough. There's so much. There's enough there for the adults that it's.
Well, and that currently is the best balance of these kind of shows. I always hold up Steven Universe in that there was stuff in there that the parents got, and there was stuff in there the kids got as they got older. Because Caroline started watching it when it first came out, and she was, I think, 10. By the time it finished and she went back through it and she saw all the different things that were in it that she then understood that she didn't understand before, she just liked the series. And now she sees the social aspects they did within it. It was the same with this. A lot of these kids will probably watch it down the road and it'll be a totally different experience for them. Sort of like right now I'm watching The Muppet Show, and some of these episodes I haven't seen since I was 12 maybe. And it's a totally different experience seeing them now than seeing when I was 12. It's the same with original Trek. You see it when you're young, and then you see it when you're older, and you get things that went over your head. And especially the series for young adults and that kind of stuff. You need that kind of thing to make it viable down the road as these people get older.
I remember an anecdote that Peter told about Ariel, I believe it was, way back when. And she was watching an episode of Star Trek, and it was the original series. And she said, "Daddy, what is this?" And he said, "Oh, that's Star Trek." She went, "Oh," and she watched for a few more minutes and finally went, "Daddy, where's Worf?" It's like, okay.
Yeah, because that's where
she was first. That's where she started. That was her youth.
Unfortunately, Caroline's introduction to Star Trek was Mr. Trekkie Theater.
Oh, okay.
So we had to actually show her there were good episodes.
Yes, yes.
But like I said, she's watched a number of them and all the rest. But this is the series that clicked with her.
Cool.
So, and I've heard it from other parents as well. Is kids will watch Star Trek with their mumsy and dadsy, but they liked Lower Decks a lot.
Yeah, it didn't get quite as deep. And that's, I think, a big advantage for kids watching it. It was fun. It was adventure. People running around shooting things, And it was funny when they got the jokes, of course. And there are other jokes they'll get if they watch it again, say in 10 years. So exactly. More layers there. But that's why I say it's a gateway.
Yeah. There's some questions going through the chat room. What do you guys think about Boimler, and how are they going to handle his developments from the end of the last season?
I think he's going to get screwed up, and I think he's going to screw up and get transferred back.
Okay.
He'll have to explain to everyone else why. So anyway, but I mean, I can't imagine they would run it back and forth across two ships and keep, Riker and Troy.
Mhm.
Technically, it's Riker and Riker, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah,
So-
no, Troy was there too. They both had their cameos.
Granted, but Boimler is such a Boimler and Mariner are really the focus of the show, and putting them on two separate ships, I don't see that hanging in there for like an entire season.
Yeah. Or he could literally be back and we'll find out why, halfway through. Just so everybody knows, there's a Q&A button. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it in there, because it actually is easier than trying to sort it out from the chat.
Mhm.
If I'm
Right.
pointing at the chat, you have no idea how my computer's set up. And if you like a question that's being asked, like it, and it will go to the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
But the Q&A is very, very useful and allows us to see your questions rather than trying to read through.
Because the chat goes pretty fast.
Yeah, and sometimes faster than our eyeballs.
I will say this: two people, Terry and Maggie, in the chat. I said he'll screw up and get reassigned, but they both basically said he may screw up on purpose to get sent back.
You know what?
I like that. I like that even better.
I think both of those, like screwing up and coming back, I think that's the obvious. I think that's too easy. I'd like him to do well and get promoted coming back, not out of the lower decks, but he could still, come back, stay a full lieutenant or something, and still stay lower decks. But because having him screw up, that's just too obvious.
Or he could come back, and become their boss,
Mhm.
which would set up a whole
Yeah.
new dynamic.
Or it could be like a Top Gun scenario. I mean, he does something great, brilliant. You got an assignment anywhere you want in Starfleet. Where do you want to go? And he might request to go back.
Yep.
We have a question. Do you guys believe they gave Rutherford and Tenzi the short stick over the course of the series? Way too much Bomir Mariner show.
I
think it was a lot. Yeah. I like the other two characters, but yeah, we could have used more of them.
I think Rutherford they gave a fair amount to as well. I mean, they played that implant card a lot, but they did a lot with it, and a lot of it was so much fun. Whereas Tenzi, yeah, I'm kind of waiting for it. I mean, I didn't recognize she was a Green Orion slave girl until they mentioned it like in episode 6 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought, okay, so she's not human, but she's a Green Orion slave girl. But yet they didn't play into some of the aspects that are supposedly characteristics of that species.
Mhm.
Maybe they considered it a little too adult. I don't know. Or maybe they were afraid. Or maybe they're planning on bringing her out more in season 2.
Or it could be that she is such an anomaly that she came to Starfleet just because she didn't fit in.
Mhm.
Exactly. So there's plenty of potential there, but it's sort of like if you in the original Star Trek, they didn't really bring out a lot of backstory on Uhura or Sulu or Chekhov until like later on when they became critical to certain storylines. So you can't make everybody the lead all at once.
Well, yeah, because what you had is you had your two main characters, and then they were introducing the other characters, and in doing so, they were kind of testing the temperature of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want to see more of? Who are you more interested in? And
Exactly.
fans let it be known what they wanted to know more about.
Mm-hmm. And also some of the story in the earlier stories, they were obviously fighting to get the viewers to feel this is Star Trek. So all of a sudden you've got Boimler and Mariner escorting a Klingon general on a planet going through a Romulan culture. It was Andorian culture and a Klingon culture. So they were throwing in so much stuff that was obviously slapping you going, this is Star Trek. Notice, it's Star Trek. So they didn't have a lot of room to help develop some of the lesser characters yet.
Well, but
But
that's just it. They're not
that's coming
supposed to
forward.
be lesser characters. Rutherford and Tenzi, it's supposed to be the four of them. But Tenzi and Rutherford are both, so far, they're one note. I mean, we haven't seen much of Tenzi at all beyond just happy pleasing everyone. And with Rutherford, we haven't seen much beyond the implant. That's like the one note joke with him.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you said completely, but they were also so worried that this is season 1. We don't have 23 episodes to play with. We've got to get the fans to accept what this is and where and a couple of the characters, that they may not have been able to, as rushed as the episodes were, they might not have been able to give as much attention to every character.
Plus of which, again, you have to remember that you had to have scripts and you had to have the audio before you had the animation.
Right.
So, this one was a little harder to,
develop.
To
develop.
piece together. It's the same problem with every time you get a new doctor.
Yeah.
The first couple scripts are just like they're doctor scripts.
Mm-hmm.
What? Until they can figure out the tones. They had a good idea for the tones of the two main characters. That they had worked out. The other stuff they were working out as they were going along, and unfortunately, excuse me, there was a little bit of contradiction in there that they have to go back and kind of look at, because the continuity didn't always line up in terms of things.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, the scripts were being written at the same time, so it was hard.
I like some of the comments that they're quoting lines from the show. We stopped being pirates for about 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Or what do you mean back in the day? We're the same age. So some very cool stuff in the comments.
Speaking of same age, I thought that was interesting, and I'm going to blank on the characters' names, but maybe one of you guys or someone in chat can say, Mariner's former classmate, at the academy,
right,
who is now a captain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, we know Mariner deliberately screws up to stay demoted, but that's still, I mean, for a contemporary of hers to be a captain now, there's another interesting character. I mean, just not in the show. They don't have time to, the show has enough to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
But like, should they ever get novels going, or?
Unfortunately, I don't see these things as novels.
No, not
they
yet.
They might do. Yes, graphic novels I could see, but I can't see them as, because they were so short. I could see it as a comic book, but a novel would take some of the mystery out of it.
I could see. I mean, they could do episodes for this, but I could see, say, a book of short stories, like Star Trek Lower Decks Origins, and just tell the story for each short story is about how each character got to Starfleet in their lives, something like that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be. I would read that.
Yeah. So great. Now let's sell it. We each write a story. Boom, we're in.
Definitely.
But
no, I really liked that character in passing, though, and it's just you don't get to see too many of the women hotshots, because a lot of times, when in all of Trek, when the woman's the guest star character, a lot of times the guest stars end up, the antagonist or the bad guy, or they get killed off. So, you have all these characters who never go anywhere. Yeah. Because that wasn't the purpose in the show.
We have another question. Mariner was a higher rank and was demoted at the beginning of the series. Did we ever find out what her rank was?
You're gonna look it up, Kathleen?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, just because I don't know. It
I
might
don't
have been
think they
mentioned, but it
said,
was a
yeah.
throwaway.
I don't
But
think they said. I mean, we
No.
saw her make lieutenant and get busted back.
I can see
we
Lieutenant
do
Commander.
know it was a prank.
Yeah.
That's
They got
all
her
we
to
know
make
is it's some prank. I'm sorry. I'll be right back in just.
I'm just considering, where her mother was and who the admiral was, her parents. It can't be if her roommate was all the way up a captain. I can't imagine Mariner being like just a mere lieutenant.
Well, except that
So,
depends not just on Mariner, but also on the roommate. That's my point. There's a story there for her to have made captain so fast.
you're right, and there are stories about they were the youngest captain in Starfleet since Kirk. Oh, this was the youngest, so there's somebody who's probably going to break that too. I'll bet you there's somebody in their 20s who made captain.
Hmm.
You know,
Well, yeah, Twyla Scott.
I mean, sorry.
Twyla Scott, the one
Right,
who broke Kirk's record.
right. That's the one I was thinking of. I just couldn't think of her name. Well done on the trivia. But but I'm just thinking. I mean, she's from a family who, a captain, an admiral as the parents. She's going to get every advantage. We can't piss off the admiral and not promote the daughter, so let's bump her up right, at the first opportunity. I'm thinking at least lieutenant commander or commander. I really am, because she was so familiar with command capabilities and command decisions and so forth. So it's not a Louis being kicked back to ensign. It's got to be something higher up.
I could see that.
So, but anyway, pitch the book idea to Peter. See what he thinks.
Sure, when he gets back.
Yeah. I know he's out. I was in your last talk, and I heard that on Father-Daughter Day.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
they have to have those occasions,
Oh, absolutely. I'm not faulting him. My God, I'm applauding.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
We've got about 10 minutes left if anyone wants to do like a wrap up. And then since we never did introduce ourselves, like after we wrap up on Lower Decks, we can do a quick like where to find us online and what we're up to after we're done.
Okay. Let me throw one last question in first. We can each come up with a quick answer. Like, where would you like to see the series go in the next series? Where would you like to see Lower Decks go in the next series of 8 or 10 episodes?
I want them to nail the character development. They keep like hinting at it and pulling back. And I want the character development from the season 2 finale. I want it to stick.
I think it will. I think it will. I wouldn't mind a little more interaction between the lower and the upper. Because they're the support staff for the ship. It might be interesting to see how some of the other people interact with them, how they see them. There might be some prejudice about it, That's sort of my feeling on it. Okay. Oh, and if I blank out, it's because my Mac battery just informed me that it is dangerously low.
Oh no.
Okay.
Because I've been talking on it for 3 hours.
Understood. For me, I'd like to see a little more character development. I wouldn't mind seeing more stories that tie directly into some of the other characters' lives, like Boimler and Tiza and so forth. See how a little bit of people who knew them before they were off, before they were on the lower decks.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. Like, it's such a short time though, just half hour. But I'd also love to see like more of the crew interaction and how things work.
And I think one of my favorite characters is the feline doctor, who is so much a Dr. McCoy.
Yes.
And she's the same feline race as the feline from the original animated series too.
Exactly.
So a little continuity there. Okay, Kathleen, since you're the one running low on power, since you never really introduced yourself, you want to do that real quick?
I am Kathleen O'Shea David. I am a master puppeteer, an equity stage manager, a graduate of the Yale School of Drama, author, mom, cat person, tired person, and wife. Yeah, to Peter David, and longtime Star Trek fan, and I really am quite happy that that we have all these new different forms of Star Trek to enjoy.
I'm Alan Chafin. I know it says T.H. Chafin. That's my professional writing name, but I go by Alan. As to where you can find me online, you really can't. I don't have Twitter accounts or Instagram or anything like that. I am on Facebook under Alan, A-L-A-N, Chafin, but I generally don't post on there unless I'm traveling. And it's not always Star Trek related. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's Star Wars related or other genres. So you can look for me out there and then notice that I don't post except a few times a year. And then I post every day for a couple of weeks.
Can I add just one thing? I actually do finally have for all those of you who said, have you done a website of your puppets? It's no strings attached puppets.com.
Can you type that in chat? Type it in chat so they can see it.
Yep.
Okay. As to my Star Trek background, well, got into the series back in first thing I saw of Star Trek was in 1969, so didn't follow it closely, but that's where I saw my first Star Trek. Been a fan ever since. Been going to conventions since 1975, which dates me quite a bit. There was one other thing I wanted to mention. And I have I co-wrote one issue of a Star Trek comic book, but believe it or not, I'm better known for authors who are friends of mine writing me into their novels and comic books. So yes, I am a character in a plethora of Star Trek books, all the way from Starfleet Academy, going through Older Age, different ranks. And their goals seem to be, how can we best embarrass Alan? So they always,
well, I'm currently an admiral and an entire alien race.
Yeah, Peter had, no, was it Bob? Bob or Peter, I think, had me pass out face first into a hot fudge sundae once.
That was Bob.
That was Bob. Peter had me abandon my post to chase after a girl.
Yes. And
call Wesley Crusher an idiot to Picard's face.
Yep.
So you can see they like to embarrass me out there. Anyway, so that's my cred, though I also lecture conventions across the country. Rigel?
Okay, well, my claim to Trek fame is I'm in the final Strange New Worlds, a hard print edition that they did, number 10. I wrote Brigadoon. I've been a fan of the show since forever. I mean, since the very first incarnation, and I've seen them all. I have written for the RPG Shadowrun, and I have a ton of original fiction out there. If you go to Blue Tricks Books, I typed it in chat, you'll see it. I am going to plug an anthology I've had the good fortune to be in with a whole bunch of New York Times bestselling authors. It's called Turning the Tide. I should put this in chat too. Turning the Tide, it's from the International Association of Media Tie-in Writers. It's a charity anthology, and all the proceeds are going to go to worldwide literacy. It's on pre-order now through Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and it will be published on 3/13. But yeah, I write a ton of original stuff, mostly fantasy and science fiction. There's a few other genres thrown in there: a mystery, a sports novel, a romance, bunch of action.
Cool.
Oh, I had Sherlock Holmes solve Glenn Howman's murder.
Cool. Which murder?
Well, that'd be giving the plot away because that's sort of part of it.
Okay, because he was killed, what, 28 times, I think, or something like that?
Kupperberg knocked it like up to close to 50 because he kept killing him.
Okay. Yeah, that was, I read that I was laughing from one end to the other. It was beautifully done.
Yep.
But was there a sequel book you guys were talking about? You know, Glenn Hellman keeps getting killed or something like that.
No, Glenn is getting his revenge.
Okay, that says a lot.
Yes, we're doing the Crazy 8 Magic 8 Ball. So
Okay, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
They keep killing Glenn. Thank you, Maggie. That's the exact title. Glenn is Kenny from South Park. Okay, I can get that. Anything else we want to throw in on Lower Decks here? I mean, I've got high hopes for the future. I can't wait until we get some more coming in.
Yep.
It's really between Lower Decks and Discovery and CBS having all the previous and Picard and with Strange New Worlds coming out and then all Prodigy and the rest. It's the golden age of Star Trek. It's the golden age of science fiction, but it's really the golden age of Star Trek.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to put Star Wars up against that because they've announced 10 new Star Wars series in the works. Doesn't mean all 10 are going to make it. But
that's why I said it's really the golden age of science fiction.
Oh yeah, between that and all the Marvel stuff that's going on and DC and we won.
I know.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Nerds are ruling the world. Look at this. We're hundreds of miles away from each other. We're talking live on screen. People are watching our show from home. You can get into this with a laptop for $200.
Yep.
We're living at least part of the future that they promised. I just don't want my flying car.
I know, me too.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
I have a 2-hour commute. I want a flying car.
Yeah, but then everything up in the sky will be a mess.
Yeah, but there's more sky. We don't have to pave the sky.
Yeah.
Down here, they have to pave more roads. Up there, a lot of lanes.
All right, I gotta bounce because my thing just said to me, "I'm about to shut your computer down."
Okay.
All
right. Take care, Kathleen.
Thank you for everybody who participated.
Yes.
Bye.
Say hi to the fam.
Hi.
Will do.
And thanks everyone for coming. It was so great to have you here.
Okay. We still have 15 participants and theoretically 5 more minutes. Anything else we want to bounce around?
Yeah, good question.
We only have 3 questions. They've all been answered.
Yep.
So if Glenn is Rory, who is Amy? Amy's Karen Gillan, and I've been in love with her long before she appeared in Doctor Who. She even told me that when she called me brilliant. Because I wrote her a custom song. And she allowed me to perform it. She loved it and asked me to send her a copy. So I know who Amy is.
Yeah. Karen Gillan's great. I'm a big fan too.
Yeah.
She's so tall.
Sorry?
And she's so tall.
She's 5'11". I don't care. But she's talented.
That's a bad thing.
But she's talented, smart, funny. Did you do that at Shore Leave? Yes, I did that on stage at Shore Leave, Michael, but she wasn't there for the presentation. So she allowed me to perform it for her at a private moment I got with her earlier in the day. And she called me brilliant. I got a hug and I fell more deeply in love with her. So I miss seeing you guys in person. Sarah, Alex, yeah, I agree with you guys too. I feel I have the feeling the next convention I go to, Shore Leave or Farpoint, I'm going to walk in the door. Hi, can I hug you? So good seeing you. Hi, can I hug you? It's so good seeing you. That's going to be, I should wear a t-shirt that says, hi, can I hug you? Because I live alone. I'm in West Virginia. That says enough, I think. And I'd have no real escape. Like I said, this town only recently got a bookstore.
Oh,
we don't have a public library. We don't have a theater. Like that would make a difference at this point. And there's no science fiction club. Max considers her a friend and describes her, Karen, crazy as a bag of cats. I understand cats. I said that earlier. And Sarah says, I'm going to hug you too, dear. Yes, I hope so. You see you guys wake up. Okay, well, we're down to 14 still, so there's still 11 more of them than us.
Yep,
so
not outnumbered.
2 minutes. We're going to go to the last minute. I love that idea for a t-shirt. I'm not a hugger, but in your case, I'll make an exception. I like that. That would be a great t-shirt for the first convention. Get your hug t-shirts right here, $9.95 a piece. Or just throw them into the ditty bag you get at the gate. For $10, get a t-shirt.
Yeah. I'm a determined optimist. I'm still holding out hope surely it's going to go forward this year.
I'm in line to get my shot just as fast as I can, and I will do it at the first opportunity.
Definitely.
Okay, we're supposedly down to about 2 minutes according to my computer. Haven't heard anything from the tech.
Well, hey, we're the last panel as long as they don't kick us off.
Well, actually, no, there is one more panel after that. That's the committee, the post-convention committee meeting, and I do want to attend that.
Oh, okay, well.
So that's what I mean, but I'm going to hang on till they turn off the transmitter, so to speak. Seems to be somebody in radio said that once. Anyway, Lower Decks, hoping for a new season. Wouldn't mind more episodes in a season because I get a little. I'm from the age of where shows were on for 9 months.
I know, right?
You got like 36, 38 episodes a year. And then it went back to 6 months. And now we're down to 13. And now we're down to 8 and 10 or sometimes 6.
Yeah.
So, which I know is
I guess that's English a good format. Thing. You want people saying, we want them longer. We want more of them. As opposed to you don't want people saying, is it done yet?
Yeah.
So
there are some shows. There are some shows that I love and I'll watch. As they're on. Or I've been watching it for 5 years. I really don't care about it anymore. But I've got a 5-year commitment. I'm going to hang on till they cancel it. That kind of thing. Tech, I wrote a bit up. It's the last panel in this room. I won't kick you out if you drift over. It's up to you. No, I want to go to the other panel. So we're at time. So I guess we're done.
Yeah. Thank you again, everyone. And Alan, great to see you again.
You as well. And thank you for our 7 participants who are still hanging on. Take care and hope you enjoy the convention.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.